31 years old. We have put a suckling baby in a universal cradle. Our nation, 31 years old, still has to be ready to face any kind of struggle. But the real enemy lies outside, and it is with him we all have to fight. And divided we fall, so everyone is important. Indians, Caucasians, Africans, time to unite. Why? 'Cause we going up. Oh, we're not going down the road with nobody. We going up. Hey, because we have seen the promised land already. We're not going down the road of poverty.
We're not going down the road
Of illiteracy.
We're not going down the road
Of injustice.
We're not going down the road
Of racial prejudice. We going up.
Up and away,
Oh, straight to the top, yeah.
up and away.
So tell the leader that this nation say we going up, 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 up and away. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to Calypso Showcase. And I'm sure by now you must have guessed that our special guest tonight is Franz Lamkin Delamo. Delamo is the guy who won the joint Monarch for 1994. He is the Southern Calypso King. He's also the Young King for 1994. And more lately, he's the Caribbean King of Kings. Delamo, welcome to Calypso Showcase.
It's a pleasure. Night, everyone.
The name Delamo, where did it come from?
The name Delamo was given to me by the late Art Decoto. We had just completed recording 6 months hard labor, and for purposes of accounting, there was this slot on the document for sobriquet, and he asked, well, what is your name? I didn't have a name, and he presented me with this name. I have grown to love it. It didn't mean anything at the time. It didn't imply mighty. It didn't imply any ethnic side in it. It's just Delamo.
Just Delamo.
Yeah.
Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
Okay. I was born at Alexander Village, Couva, but I spent most of my life, I grew up at Marbella. Yeah.
I heard that you work offshore. Tell us about your employment other than Calypso.
Okay, I've been employed with Armoco Trinidad Oil Company for the past 21 years. I had reached the status of assistant platform supervisor with Armoco. I was primarily engaged in the production, oil production. That's after a well is drilled, you need a certain amount of skill to produce it, and then that's where I was involved. However, over the past 2 years, I've made a change. I've gone into gas. We seem to be finding more gas than oil. So it's probably a good economic sense for me to be
in the
gas business. Yeah.
Can you remember the exact moment on Dimanche Gras night when the results were announced and what went through you at that moment?
Well, the whole Dimanche Gras thing was more or less a spiritual thing for me. And I was more or less trying to keep my ego in control and so on. Also, my experiences in competition prior to this year, I never won, I never, so I didn't want to set myself up for a fall or anything like that. I knew that during the, especially perform of 31 years old, I honestly felt I could fly, when I'm saying up, up, up. I attempted to fly out of the Savannah, yeah.
Since you've earned that title of the Joint Monarch of Trinidad and Tobago, what has it meant for you in terms of engagements, travel, and that sort of thing?
Well, I've done quite a bit of travel, yes. I have been to the United States and to islands in the Caribbean. But I honestly felt that within the Monarch, there was, so far as the NCC is concerned and so on, there would have been some kind of vision or some concept so what role a Monarch plays, possibly in national development or something like that. Well, that's one of my disappointments. But so far as engagements and so on, I'm doing fairly all right. Yeah.
Well, before we go to the video clip that we are prepared for, there's one burning question that I personally want to ask you. What's the outcome of this impasse with the car and splitting that car in two?
Okay, I just want to say that at this point in time, negotiations are going on between Carib, the sponsor and, of the first prize, and the NCC.
It's still being worked out.
Yeah, but I just want to add that while it's being worked out, I am subject to a certain amount of ridicule because I'm on foot for the first time in a few years. So, hey, where the car? Hey, Monarch, where you walking? That kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to let you viewers know that, as usual, we have a prepared video clip of Delamo, and later on in the program, you'd be able to call in and chat with him, ask him a question or two. So that's something to look forward later in the program. We take a commercial break, and when we come back, we go to Marabella, the home of Delamo. Franz Lamkin Delamo, it's a pleasure to be here in your home talking to you and your daughter, Sasha. And we want to look at your Calypso career. But can we start, first of all, by talking about where you were born and where did you grow up?
I was born at Couva, but I grew up, I spent my virtually my entire life here in Marabella, Bato Avenue, Marabella.
When did you first become interested in Calypso as an art form?
As far back as I could remember, my early recollections, at age 4, I remember when relatives and family visited. My parents would say, hey, this is Franz, and he knows 13-year-old Mabel, you know. And at that age, I had known Sparrow's 13-year-old Mabel, you know, and I used to sing. I had this love for music right through my life. Grew up in a poor family, so I had to be resourceful. I made my first guitar with my own hands. I used to tune little grapefruit things, add up little, as they call it, a pan side in the avenue with the other guys and so on. So basically that's it.
First Calypso that you ever composed, when was that?
The first Calypso I composed, it was, there's a story behind it. Throughout the years, I was into poetry really, and my mother really never favored Calypso to any great extent. She loved me to sing country and western, and she found that I sounded something like Jim Reeves, so she would always welcome me singing Jim Reeves. But there was an incident in front of my home at Bato Avenue, and the guys were arrested and so on. And I went down to the courts, and as a result of that, I wrote 6 months hard labor. Although I wasn't directly involved, I did write the song in the first person, you know, so to sort of put some more sympathy thing.
I remember you actually singing that on a stage, so perhaps you could give me a little reminder of what it sounded like. I remember the chorus hook line, 6 months hard labor.
Yeah. Well, I don't drink rum, I don't drink whiskey, I don't even take a little tampy, I don't be obscene, I don't cuss nobody, and a priest can't be more godly than me. But Friday night in Mebachi, a policeman arrest me, and on Monday, yeah, what the magistrate say? The man give me 6 months hard labor for smoking ganja. I am a decent fella, why they give me so much pressure? 6 months hard labor for smoking ganja. They put me behind bar, but I didn't smoke no marijuana.
Brings back fond memories.
Yeah.
The first tune that I remember actually you singing on a stage was the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and it was a tune that I don't know if you released it on record before, actually singing it live, but I heard it a lot on the radio, and then I think one day at what we call the Kingdom of the Wizards, which is now Spectacular Forum, you performed it for the first time. Can you tell me the story behind that?
Okay, I wrote that song. It had to do with the building of the racing complex in Central, and I had recorded 6 months hard labor, but I didn't approach the tents because I still had this feeling about, you know, family not happy with me singing calypso or such, so I didn't present myself to the tents. The following year, I did this Apocalypse, and I decided I wouldn't go to the tents either, but I would enter the competition. However, the CDC then had this rule that they didn't want any mavericks, that's the quote, in the competition. You had to be, right. So the tents, the cast of the tents in those days, it wasn't shifty as in these days. So the cast more or less was well known. However, Monroe was new on the scene and he had contracted almost everybody. So I told him I was a member of Monroe's cast. And Mr. Stricker, as the chief judge then, allowed me to sing and told me that I must bring some documentary evidence by Monday to support the fact that I was with his tent. And I went to Monroe the Monday morning, but by the time I reached, I'd already picked their semi-finalists, so it was pointless. And Monroe invited me to sing with his tent because he had liked the song. As a matter of fact, they were supposed to be in Tobago that night. They gave me a ticket, reached Tobago, singing tonight. Composer was the MC. For some reason, I wasn't put on. And the following night, that was a Wednesday night, I came to the tent. Monroe's words were, I don't know what happened last night, but you're singing tonight. As a matter of fact, composer, who's singing now? I said, well, so-and-so. Okay, dress, you're singing after. I wasn't rehearsed or anything like that. And I remember being brought on by the MC, well, we have a fella here, a young fella, you have to, you know, encourage them, and this and that and the other. And I promptly got 5 encores. Last night, while I was trying to rest my head, a vision appeared to me as I was lying on my bed. 4 riders, each one had a different horse. They say they're going down Caroni, they want to check out the new race course. Ministers, businessmen, even the president kneel down worshiping these horses as if it was the day of judgment. And though he was present, they ignored the Son of Man, because like to worship a horse was their religion. So I turned and I asked what all this signified, and everything was revealed to me by the Most High. I see a horse laughing kiki. He say in this country is he spending we money. That's about as much as I remember.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if the next tune was Sodom and Gomorrah, but that's the other one that I remember before you actually sort of got into the tents in a big way.
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrah was the other tune that we heard a lot of.
Yeah.
Tell us about Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay, I was looking at a movie, the Bible, and it had this scene where the angel of the Lord visited Abraham on his way to destroy the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham bargained for the inhabitants of the cities until it reached a point that if they find one righteous man in both cities, the cities would be spared. And by extension, I thought, what if this same thing happened in my country, you know? What would happen? And this is how this is how Sodom and Gomorrah came about. Well, and that song had 10 verses.
Well, now when you're asking for one.
Yeah, an angel of death visited Abraham way back in the scripture and said I would visit death and destruction to Sodom and Gomorrah. But if in the cities I find but 10 righteous men there, peradventure my spirit would be pacified, both cities I would spare. But if that very angel should come visiting here in my country, tell me if it could find but 10 men of integrity, because avarice, greed and corruption is in control of this blessed land. Social ethics, forgotten honesty, downtrodden, the angel may not find one man in this whole island, cause we are living in this modern Sodom and Gomorrah. And very soon an angel will visit we here in the near future. And if your wife turn a pillar of salt, I want you know that it is your fault. And if fire and brimstone fall down on me, brother man, we are all guilty.
Right 97, a car wine and a vision.
Yeah.
And let's talk about a vision first. Tell me about a vision.
We had just changed government, and I in my song had a vision of, you know, the path we would choose, and, you know, so far as national development, and so, you know, it was a nationalistic song.
On the banks of a river, I had this peculiar vision. I saw the future of our country, yes, the future of our nation. I saw a new Trinidad coming down like a new Jerusalem, descending slowly from parted sky, a jewel in God's heaven. And we had a new prime minister. His cabinet comprised men of the highest grade. And all my people were so happy. What a joyful noise they made. All confessed Trinidadians and Tobagonians standing proud. They were singing a patriotic song, and they were singing it out loud. And they were singing Trinidad and Tobago, how I love thee. Trinidad and Tobago, my native country. Never would I leave your shores, never would I roam. I salute Trinidad and Tobago, my eternal home.
Now, Akel Wine was like a tune I remember from the very first time you sang it in the tent. Everybody said, this song gonna take the Lamo all the way to the finals. Yeah. It was a song which clicked. Everybody liked the melody, everybody liked the lyrics, what it was saying. Tell us about what that song meant for you that year.
Okay, Nita, I have always been, you know, the women folk always seem to give me some stick. You always serious on stage, you don't smile, you don't whine, and so on. So in response to that, I came up with that kind of wine to sort of clearly define boundaries as to, you know, what I stood for, and that sort of thing. And not because it's my work, because I've examined other people's work, and when I, you know, when I recognize good work, I say, well, this is a good calypso. And Akan wine, in my view, is a perfectly balanced calypso. It affords one a certain amount of, there's a hook, and the rhythm is infectious enough to have you dancing. And if you are a purist and you're inclined to listen, there's a profound message, you know. So that is why I feel, you know, calypso should be, you know. I wish I could write some more car wines.
Going to the Savannah for the first time, you know, every Calypsonian, no matter how well you try to prepare yourself, there's something special about that big Savannah stage and dealing with it. What were your experiences with dealing with that Savannah stage for the first time?
Well, honestly, I had some butterflies. I also had some disappointments. I wanted a certain presentation. I didn't know that, well, you afforded the opportunity to use whatever props you want. I just wanted some adjustments in the lighting and so on, and I was refused. And I saw them do it for another contestant. But I am not entirely worried by these things. I just woke up one morning writing calypsos. So I more or less see myself as on some instrument or some higher source feed this message to me. Because some of the things I say in my calypsos, I find they're too bright for me in my little brain. Them things come from me, you know.
My lyrics always heavy, my music is very sweet. And if it compel you, woman, you could whine to the beat. But don't ask me to whine. Don't tell me to whine. Don't ask me to whine. Don't tell me to whine.
The following year, the tune World Peace, I thought that was quite a thought-provoking number, a minute for World Peace.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, but I thought that would have done something for me. It didn't even make me, I didn't even reach semifinals with it. However, this year, I was invited to represent Trinidad in the Caribbean King of Kings competition. And there's no restriction on, you know, how old your song is. They insisted, however, on the topics being international for obvious reasons.
Yes.
And I did World Peace, and I won the Caribbean King of Kings just about 3 weeks ago.
Can you play me a verse and chorus of World Peace? As
Well,
much as you just sang it.
So take this message of peace to the Zulus in South Africa. Pacify the Tamils and the Sikhs in Sri Lanka and India. Sail up the Straits of Hormuz into Iraq and Iran. And in Bosnia, we have to stop Serbian aggression. Restore democracy to the Republic of Haiti. And for the Palestine people, we must find a country. Then tell America and Soviet Russia we want total disarmament as we embark on a peaceful worldwide government, starting with a minute silence for world peace. We crave your indulgence for world peace. Come on and give a tiny minute for world peace. Mankind must no longer live like beasts. Go on, you got to love your brother, regardless of race, creed, or color. We go on bended knees, begging all world leaders, please, please, a minute silence for world peace.
"1990, another big year for you, and the tune Prophets, I see as another one of your sort of trademark tunes. I think a lot of other Calypsonians refer that to show the sort of vision that Calypsonians have of the future. Let's talk about Prophets.
Yes, well, I view the work I do in a certain spiritual context, and I look at other people's work, and I found that we were constantly, Calypsonians, being prophetic, and maybe if people would not only listen to us, but hear us, our country possibly would be in a better position. As a result of that, I had the song Prophets, and I gave, in my view, 3, classic examples of how, in fact, Calypsonians have been prophetic, and I reached semifinals, I think, that year. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
The other song, the Soca Chutney Jam, was almost out of context for someone like Delamo. Tell us what prompted you to compose something as fiery as that?
Well, what happened, we were into this racism or racialism started to rear its head, and I thought to answer, the people, I tried to show that soca was in fact an amalgam of chutney and calypso rhythms, so that, the music we getting together, why can't we get together as a people? Yeah, as a people, look how we came together and formed this beat that, threatening to do something internationally.
It's a bassman from Lavanti with a dancer from Caroni. Let a dola join in the jam, and you chunk it down with the Iron Man. Horns in harmony. Yeah. Who come out to divide and rule? They go use me as the tool. Anytime they come in racial, I do glad I stay neutral. We country have a bright future if we all would unite. Just drum some chutney, don't take it me and nobody go fight. Let the silver size are on my JDT. And the harmonium in the Indian chutney. And the dental man, the iron in hand. An interesting similarity. Hey! Sing-nagi, hey! Tie up melodies and let me rock. All our we free. And we mix up like Calgary. So we go rock, jump, so we jump.
And the following year, obviously, with all the happenings in 1990, it was just logical that a lot of calypsonians would be talking about the coup and so on, and you chose to do a calypso called Looters.
Yeah.
Tell us about the angle that you chose.
Well, I sort of perceived the angles that other calypsonians would take, and when the season started, I found myself justified in what I thought, and I chose a different angle, and I was saying that our education is pointed towards romanticizing people who have been looters in the past. It was just purely coincidental. Just that year, I had gotten a translation of a Spanish account of West Indian history. And I sort of felt ashamed of myself because I went through college, happy with Drake and Hawkins, the Sea Dogs, and, I was really happy. And then it suddenly dawned on me, take us here. We are here in Marbella, and we are enjoying a simple, peaceful day. And think about some warships just pulling up in the Gulf and just running through here, kill women, burn, and take what you want and just go. And this is how the English is how Drake and they operated. And now that I have better sense, I am not happy that I was given that diet of education.
I remember you also sang another tune called Wounded. And there are a lot of songs that calypsonians sing which never come to the fore but are just as good as some of their frontline tunes.
Yeah.
Wounded. Tell us about that.
Well, to be honest, I don't remember the song. I just sometime this week that song passed through my head. And what I was saying, from the depths of darkest Africa, this is Calypso, speaking to the populace. From the depths of darkest Africa, it was I who placed a song upon your lips until the white slave master came and took us out, in same ships. But I stayed with you and so on. And now, I am wounded. I am wounded. I am wounded. Oh, 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 oh. mentally and I'm dying slow. I am wounded, and my name is Calypso. So when you sing Ram Bam, it's me you come out to jam. You're killing my heavy lyrics with your own music. Basically, that's what I did.
I was giving a message to
Yeah,
the other
yeah,
Calypsonians,
yeah.
and they're following you the argument. In fact, that's the only tune I have on record you singing in '92, the argument. I don't know why it is. I only remember you singing one tune in '92.
And as yes, I did the argument. What I have done through the years is challenge myself. Although I am categorized as a particular Calypsonian, I want to blossom, you know. I want to be the total Calypsonian. I want to be the total writer. And I had not done a political commentary, and that was your effort. Yeah, that was my effort.
The next thing is to be a lawyer. He put the hand on the chin and consider Hudson, Phillips, and Guerra make big money working for the government of the country. But what about a baby lawyer called Tony, former minister of national security? He couldn't track down Mansour, the drug pusher. He said the whole police force ain't have one motor car. He want to be like Chief Olunku Igbaru, to go back to Nigeria and sue. He will be a man who take all the damn money and let them beat me like Good Friday Boboli. December the 16th for your birthday, I get endless bois and lati mange. In the Red House I did say with full force attack. Now when they attack, I barely beat and jack.
93, a good year for you. In fact, I like to think of 93 as the maturing of the Lamo. We started to see now children making children. I think, I suspect there must have been a little disappointment about not going all the way to the finals with the double that you had last year.
Children making children. My wife and I taking Sasha to the health center to get inoculation. And 5 young girls from about 14, 16, and they all had babes in arms, like dollies. And that impacted on me to, write the song.
Young girl, I am begging you to stop and give yourself time to fully develop. And don't believe anybody who tell you contrary. Making child is big responsibility, and you ain't ready mentally, children. Little should be making children. No, them little children. Hey, yes, should be making children. Do you hear me now?
1993, also the Independence Calypso Monarch competition, a very, very interesting competition. And I think one of the memorable things about that competition was the tune 31 Years Old, and must go down as one of your better tunes. Let's talk about that.
Okay, I am not to use my words, a factory type writer. I am an inspirational writer, and I write very quickly, in spite of the the amount of words I have in my songs. And I woke up about 3 one morning, and I just wrote a song. Generally, my songs I take 20 minutes, at most an hour, and I'm finished. I would proofread after and take out a and, a but. I might even use another word to strengthen and so on, but it flows. I've learned that if I don't capture it then, sometimes it goes forever.
The phrase up Did that come to you first? I mean, did you build the song around that?
Yeah, yes. I built, well, I looked at this advertisement, and in all honesty, I felt that you know, the Prime Minister wanted to give a positive message, but somehow he used a negative to pass on a positive message. I don't think it deliberate. I felt an oversight, and I thought I would not subject him to ridicule, but to strengthen his intent.
Why? Cause we going up, up and away. We not going down the road with nobody. We going up, up and away. Because we have seen the promised land already. We not going down the road of poverty. We not going down the road of illiteracy. Down the road of injustice. Down the road of racial prejudice. We going up, up and away. Hey, straight to the top. Up and away. So tell the leader that this nation say we going up, 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 up and away. Hey, 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 hey.
1994, Young King and Joint National Monarch. And San Fernando Calypso King too. Eh? So the tune Trinity Is Still My Name, a powerful composition. How did you approach it?
All right. No, I started, and then first of all, people don't know it, but I made a profound statement in my first line. You know, as to where I stood on the issue. However, in fairness, although I gave my side how I felt, the Calypso was based, I sort of went into Kitchener's mind's eye and gave the public an account of why. But I needed to put the stammering, you know, and that opened up a whole new dimension in the Calypso, because he's saying, well, he's a stammering. So, and then I remembered, well, even though he stammers, when he sings, that's absent. So that's how I got the idea to use his melodies, because this is something important he wants to pass on to the public, so he don't want to be stuttering. So he said, Delamo, I don't talk plenty because I have a stammering tongue. So I could tell my side of the story in song, and I use his
Song.
Yeah, his song.
I thought that was very clever, and in fact, I thought from a presentation point of view, and I always tell young Calypsonians who are looking at presentations, it's these simple things that work for them, where you use the hat to put on before the chorus to take the image of Kitchener and express his point of view. Very, very clever indeed.
A man should never refuse a national award. I was telling Lord Kitchener to lose national support an artist can't afford. When I met him by Green Corner, what is your excuse, Kitch? What is your defense? The public want to know what went wrong. Lamo, you know I don't talk plenty because I have a stammering tongue. Well, let me tell my side of the story in a song. Everybody want to know how the problem start. Hey. Well, if you get to know friends, it's going to break your heart. I tell you now, a national award committee, they tell me no damn Trinity cross for me.
No Trinity for you, Kitchi. No Trinity for you, Kitchi. No Trinity for you, Kitchi. No Trinity, no Trinity, no Trinity.
I go find them. Hey.
The perception that Trinidadians have had of you might have been incorrect. How would you like them to see you now?
I really would like them to see me as
how I feel an artist is supposed to be viewed in any progressive community, and it goes back to what I said in Akawine. Artists don't understand the role they play in society. An artist is supposed to be a light, and you're supposed to be passing on untainted thought to the people and turning their, getting them focused in a particular direction, and I hope it's a positive, you know, a positive direction. That's how I would like people to see me. And many times when I didn't make it to in the competitions and so on, in my view, I have won crowns. I've been winning crowns from since I started. I meet people in all walks of life, and my crown is good Calypso boy. I'll listen to your Calypso.
A nation 31 years old, with some people so blinded that they may never see. But we can't lose hope. A nation 31 years old, these people must be reminded what is the real enemy. Hey, illiteracy and crime on the increase, and our economic problems never seems to cease. With AIDS and cocaine reaping havoc, mashing up we place, and some people still find time to talk alienation and race. Yes, race. When we going up, oh, we're not going down the road with nobody. We going up. Hey, because we have seen the promised land already. We're not going down the road of illiteracy,
Not going down the road.
of poverty,
Not going down
of injustice,
We're not going
down the road of racial prejudice. We going up,
up and away.
ooh, straight to the top.
Up and away.
So tell the leader that this nation say we going up, 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 up and away. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you hear me talking, people?
Every time I climb on a stage, it's the same problem. They want to change my image, especially them women. The Lamo, we love the music, the song that you're singing, but you have to improve your act. You got to bend down and do some whining. If you really want to gain importance, like a superstar, you are going to shine. When you get on the stage to give your performance, if you only roll back and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine and whine, shaking up your body, go and